So today we're going to talk about two really big monsters in the digital media world, and that's Facebook and Instagram. So, yes, what? At this point in time, they're probably two of the most iconic platforms that exist, and the reality is that, yeah, you should be on both. We're going to talk really quick, and we're going to sum up kind of the most important points, and finish up with, this is not the be-all to end-all when it comes to these two platforms. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with Facebook. So, number one, it's big, it's ominous, and everybody has heard about it, but not a lot of people know how to use it. Not a lot of people understand what's available at your fingertips. So Facebook empowers business owners with amazing tools such as Facebook Blueprint, an incredibly brilliant ad manager, and an extensive library of tutorials. Everything about Facebook is meant to help you grow your business, and most of it is free.
Yay!
Free! Okay, it's free. I'll tell you a secret. Facebook would love a shot at your ad spend. They want your money, which means they're giving you these tools for free because the more they do it, you being successful makes them more successful. What a concept, right? So there's actually a want and a need and a push behind Facebook helping you to be able to create strategies to grow your business.
Okay, so next. Facebook always has a plan. Everybody's heard of Mark Zuckerberg, right? Yeah, I hope you have, because he's a pretty rich guy. He basically has employed methods to keep expanding and growing, and they employ these deadly playing cards in the market and artificial competition. Sorry, I'm having a hard time. So everybody, guess what? You've heard of Instagram? Well, Facebook happens to own Instagram, right? This transaction happened a couple of years ago, and the platform there is to expand the demographic of the audience, those looking to grow and expand their business, right? So basically what we're saying is you now have a dual forum to post on, right? I don't want to steal your slides.
I guess the question before we dig into that is, how many of you guys saw an ad for this event on Instagram or Facebook? Yeah, I know some of you came organically from Eventbrite and Twitter and all those other lovely places, but statistically speaking, most of you either came from Facebook or Instagram. So the beautiful part about where we live today is that we live in an age where finding your ideal client could not be easier. And there's not an ounce of sarcasm when I say that. For example, we've taken my accounting firm and doubled it in size every year for the last 6 years in the middle of an Alberta recession. Right? I get the pleasure of speaking to over 5,000 business clients a year, and it's, well, my business isn't growing, I'm not doing these things, I can't get clients, I can't get customers, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, a lot of it, we look at it and I go, I live in the accounting world, that's a professional service, and some people will argue that it's a necessary service because unfortunately everybody has to file taxes, but in any square block, there's anywhere from 10 to 15 accountants. Okay, which means it's a very saturated market. So to be able to take our business and double it in size every year is an accomplishment, and I'm damn proud of that fact. What's your excuse?
So how did we do it? So we broke it down into a few easy steps. The first of all is sit down and brainstorm about who your ideal client is. This is a thing that was a huge learning hurdle for us, because when we started advertising, we were like, man, we want to cover everybody all at once. We want our dollars to as far as we possibly can, so let's just blanket everybody into one ad and they're all going to come. And really, we found out that's not what you do. From there on, you can create a marketing plan. Of course, if you're going to spend money, we really hope that you have a plan and you're not just giving your money to Mark Zuckerberg. And think about the location and relatability that is going to give you leverage over your competition, right? Does anybody know that there's a home and garden show going on at Northlands this weekend? Yeah, right? If you are in the construction industry or renovation industry, how would you like to get on top of each one of those people? You'd love that, right? Do you know that in Facebook you can radial advertise an area? And that area could be put right on top of the Northlands right now, and you would be focused advertising it. Every single person, vendor in there. All these people that came to see this show, I think most people that are there right now, they spend a lot of money to get a booth. you are focus advertising your advertisement right on the show, and you're basically getting the same value that the people did who paid for those really expensive booths, and they're in the back corner and no one's ever going to see their stuff, right? You know, it's important. So measure and specify how to determine where they eat, what they do for fun, all the way down to what they're doing online. There's a lot of data metrics that we can use to determine these types of things. Like we said, you know, you want to brand your personality into what you're doing, right? Mitch just mentioned this. So, like, let's say, for instance, you have an interest that other people are interested in. That may be a shared interest with your client base that you can connect with them. So, understanding what your clients are doing and what they're looking for is really actually very important, because if you were just pushing your product, they may not be that interested in your product until that moment when they need it, and then they're just going to go to the person that has the highest Google SEO, because that's just the easiest thing to do, and people do that. If you get your brand in front of them more often, you know, your hot water heater breaks down, and you go, oh, I need a plumber, who am I going to call? Oh yeah, that guy that I keep seeing over and over again on Facebook, he's in my mind, right? Like, everybody knows about McDonald's. You know about McDonald's because you see their sign all over the place, right? You see their advertising on TV. You see them so much that you can't help but think anything different when you're hungry, right?
You may not choose to always eat there,
Well, yeah,
but you know they're an option.
They're advertising.
And I want to be an option as many times as I possibly can. I don't know about you guys. So whether or not you need me or want me or use my business, I want to at least be a consideration. So all of our strategies are focused around getting you guys ins to as many different ways you can make contact with your clients. So in comes Facebook Blueprint. We needed to learn how to make all of these things that we were talking about possible. And it sounds like a really daunting task. There's a lot, like I said, people they just over dramatize marketing, you know, and to be quite frank, there will always be a need for social media marketing services, because some people will choose to take their time and say, hey, I'm good at this, you're good at this, let's partner up, let's do, you know, business together, and I'm gonna let you handle that. That's what he does. For me, I look at it and I go, you know, both of us, we said we want to educate ourselves. Well, we need to learn how to do this, so we took tutorials on almost everything you can think of, from how to use sales funnels to building carousel ads, and really to break down how much you should be spending on what type of ad. This is all free information through Facebook Blueprint. If you take one thing away today, the internet is full of free resources. All you have to do is go and look for them. So the only resource that you have to give here to make this work is time. And we're all going to say, I don't have any time, I don't have any time, I don't have any time. Well, we're parents, we run multiple businesses, and we still manage to dedicate a little bit of time to this, because this is what puts food on our table. And quite frankly, we love what we do, which makes it a little bit easier. And I hope that you guys all love what you do, because it'd be a terrible existence to hate what you do every day. And this makes it so much easier to do what you do and love what you do. And it brings in people really quickly and really just effectively.
So the next thing we did is we took that knowledge to Ad Manager. It's another section of Facebook, and I'm sure if you have a Facebook business page, you've probably been introduced to this, because Facebook wants you to spend money with them, right? Before we started, catchy titles and funny slogans, we put the test demographics in place, which Ad Manager is letting us pick age group, gender, location, and interest. This allows us to estimate on total viewership because of the information that is being linked back to whatever our viewers like and follow already. So essentially, like I was just saying, you know, everybody wants a nice fancy ad, and I try to blanket everybody. Really what we need to do is create test demographics to see where our best ad spend comes, right? If you're spending $3 a day, that's pretty manageable, right? And you've probably heard these huge inflated numbers about advertising and marketing, where you need to be spending like $5,000 a month and all this type of stuff. And granted, at a certain point with your business, that's where you could be. But before we spend all of our money, we want to make sure that we're putting our money into a value spot, and that's why testing is important.
So once we did all that, we added pictures, catchy titles, and slogans, and hope for the best. Because quite frankly, when you're starting out, that's all you're really doing. This is one of my favorite quotes, and it really does come down to what you are a brand new business. Identify who you're going to be, and pulling in where they eat, what they do, what times they're on media, for a very affordable price.
Just a trade secret really quick, if you're looking for a place to design really good graphics for Facebook or Instagram, use Canva. We use it a lot, it's really interactive, works fantastic, and just want to give people good advice, right?
Yeah, that's a free resource, but we do a lot with the free tools on it, and every digital marketer in the room is cringing, but it's a good free tool for you guys.
Yeah.
It's Canva, it's Canva, and it's amazing. It allows you to create ads, it allows you to create business cards, it allows you to create posters. I designed our banners in Canva, and then we had the lovely, Gary, where are you sitting?
Yeah, Gary's over there for beams of
There
laser,
he is.
right?
He's sitting behind Ben's head. He did those up for us, and he did them in a couple of days for us, but we did the design work in Canva ourselves. I like doing things hands-on a little bit, and then we put, the mastermind that does the marketing, because I'm the accountant, he's the marketer. We put it in place, and it's different, and it's flashy, and it works. But,
Well, and going back to that, like, you're saying people are cringing, but at the end of the day, it's a diligence thing, right? Like, we could tell you every single trade secret we use today, and we don't have enough time to do that, but, are you really gonna go out and implore every single thing as diligently as we possibly can? I hope so, because that's how we got to where we are, but, there are people that run marketing companies out there that can help you with this too, because it is time consuming and there's a lot of information, right? So, let's tie in our passion and our brand personality. You don't want to be too technical, too silly, or too preachy. The next step is totally about balance. Research your clients' non-business interests. I repeat that, research your non-business interests, because not everybody is about business all the time. People do have passions, and Danielle mentioned that they got kids, and there's so much commonality between people, we sometimes lose sight with that. So, they use their own personality and regular conversations to create natural connections.
So I use my business as the first example. So my clients are a mix of educated and sometimes political hotheads. Let's just put it out there. Okay. We got lots of parents that are clients that are parents, and we've got clients that like to laugh. Accounting is a dry subject. Anybody else feel me on that? It's not typically like, God, when I sit down with clients, I got the same 3 bad jokes over and over and over again. And if you've heard them more than once, they're not funny more than once. And I use my awkward charm to basically make it a little bit funnier. But if I can find commonalities with my clients and I can share funny, generic stuff that actually doesn't have to do with accounting, it warms people up to the idea that, hey, accountants might have a personality. Okay? If I share a post about moms, about commiserating over wine, do you think it gets a little bit of interaction? Of course it does. I throw up a post about how your kid poops on you. People laugh, because anybody with kids has been pooped on or puked on, or, there's just relatability there, and it has nothing to do with my business. Not a damn thing. But the more points of connection, if I can make you laugh once a week, and then you're coming back and automatically you like that, the rest of my ads get pushed on you a little bit harder, which means that when I post a business-related ad, you're going to be more likely to see it because I pulled in a natural connection based on being a mom, or based on, just the commonality of laughing at, say, the political climate we have today. There's lots of things to laugh about, and it's one way you can basically make something that's very dry, like accounting, relatable to more people. Okay, that's my example.
And just another thing quickly too, like people say to me, Scott, I'm really am scared of this one, right? The reality of it is you want your post to be pushed, you're gonna get more comments than anything else through that one category, especially since we're like a couple days out for an election. Everybody is really opinionated. And there are trolls out there and they like to argue with each other. You wouldn't even have to comment yourself on this because your fan base is gonna start arguing with each other.
Give them a reason to talk.
Yeah.
Give them a reason to talk. You may not agree with everything they say, but give them a
That's
reason to
all
talk.
you're looking for here, is just giving people a reason to interact with your posts. You may not agree with it, but it's a good way to get people going on a subject that they're passionate about, right? So, share relatable filler content. This creates the who you are and what you do, or not what you, the who you are and not what you do, and your clients know who you are. Actually having a big argument with them about it, because like, hey guys, like nobody knows who you are. There's no reason to come look at your stuff, because at the end of the day, mechanical type stuff, people aren't gonna go out and pursue their posts just to like them for the sake of liking them. So here we are. Here's a simple example. Share your excitement about the hockey game last night, right? Some of us in the room probably watched the hockey game last night, And if you're a big hockey fan, you know it was probably a better effort than the game before that they scored 6 goals, because people are like, oh my god, they scored 6 goals, they did fantastic. Yeah, they had 53 shots on net that game, and that's not good. The game last night was a little more conservative, and they, you know, the team played well. You may want to comment about that through your social media. How many people in Canada are hockey fans? And though these guys have not been good for a long time, we still keep giving them more money. We still keep selling out the arena. And people will want to comment on that. Like when you go, oh my god, this year's so much better than last year. Look, they're 6-1 and they're doing fantastic. Right on, guys. Well, then the next, you know, the grouping of hockey people that are in your demographic are all going to comment, yeah, buddy, you know, go ahead, sure. So, you know, if even 50,000 other people watched the game last night, there's an easy in to let them see who you are, right? Share funny memes and share relatable content, videos, and publications, and just to show of hands, how many hockey fans are in the room? Well, quiet. Yeah, I know they haven't won much lately. It's okay. It's okay.
Basketball. I'm from Europe.
Oh. Yeah, though we invented basketball in Canada, we really don't care all that much about it. See, we really love the fast-paced game, right? Like hockey's the fastest game on sports, so basketball's really slow to a lot of us. And then on top of that, somebody gets bumped like that and they're crying on the ground, and oh my god, it's bad.
See, you may not always agree, but you're solving.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the type of interaction we're trying to get here. Honestly, you couldn't help me out anymore. Thank you very much. So, the more you do this, the more likes, shares, follows, and comments that you will accumulate through your boosts or organic reach, which you don't actually have to pay for, right? So, I made that comment on my Facebook. You said, hey, I want you to talk about basketball. Really, what just happened is my comment ended up in all your friends' feeds, right? Who would like to have their information put into all of her friends' feeds? So do you guys kind of see where this is going, right? So,
basically, in closing, well, we didn't cover everything about Facebook and Instagram. We can't in 45 minutes. I love you, Mitch, but that's not possible. So what we want to do in closing is get you to remember that your ideas are endless. Meaning, you all have different types of businesses in this room, which means we're talking about a formula that worked for our business. But we believe that the fundamentals are simple strategies that work for every type of business. Is that I get the pleasure of sitting in front of 5,000 business owners a year. That means that I get to see different types of businesses and how they grow their businesses, what their struggles are, what they're looking for, what their asks are. And we spend a lot of time strategizing about branding and how to get our business in front of more people, because I believe that my business can handle one aspect of what they're looking for, and maybe his business can handle another aspect. And between all of our business ideas together, we can hit a lot of interests for people. So we talked about simple strategies that work. We taught you how to make them cost effective, right? If you don't do anything for a simple, repeatable marketing strategy on Facebook and Instagram, please try this out. I promise you, it is actually that simple. And if you need help with how to make that run, we're in the back. But you might even have a little bit of fun, okay? What we do, like I said, my accounting is a dry subject. I love what I do. And I actually find ways to really help my clients enjoy money and finances, because, God, I gotta get them motivated to come talk to me and not be scared of me because I'm the accountant. So, I said,
yeah, okay, so like really at the end of the day, I know a lot of people have asks, but really me and Danielle are just here to share free information with people. We really like it. Our businesses are successful and we're doing quite well with them, and we're really happy about that, and we would like to share that with other people. We would like everybody to be in the ballpark that we're in and smiling about how they feel about their business and where it's going, right? I guarantee everybody in this room has heard the typical excuse that pisses me off. Oh, we're in a recession. Yeah, we're in a recession. Go look at some statistical numbers everywhere else in the world and tell me how bad it is here. Our businesses have grown exponentially, and we just employ simple methods that typically just, at the end of the day, frankly, are too lazy to employ for themselves.
Video creates this engagement that even that you can do on written words and you can do through the graphics that you're creating. Video allows you to take that authenticity in your brand one step forward from that. Now, Past that, social media platforms have embraced video with open arms, and that doesn't matter if we're talking about short form video, long form video, viral videos, going live. Every single platform has initiated video in some way or another other than Pinterest. And the reason for that is because of those things. It allows people to stay on the platforms longer. It allows them to retarget ads. They want you to be using video on your platform as much as possible. Lastly, with any philosophy, and everyone that's talked today, everyone's talked in some form or another about touch points or creating this top of mind effect across your online presence, across your physical presence. And it doesn't matter if you're shaking hands and meeting people the old-fashioned way or doing it on social now. You're trying to get your brand out there as much as possible and create as many touch points as possible. Through that, we believe that you're looking at creating what we call a subconscious inbound cycle. So you create as many subconscious touch points as you can, trying to get in front of as many people as possible, and then you run your inbound, something like today's event. You try to create the effect. You try to create the effect of getting people out at the highest level. All right. The first question is always the hardest. It usually opens up the room. So I want you guys to make them as specific as possible. Try to talk specifically about your businesses, and I'm going to answer as many as I can in the time that we have. First one.
How many minutes should be an effective video? Minimum,
All right, so the question was, how long should be the minimum or maximum or the effective length of a video? And this is the question that I get asked the most by far when I do events like this. And my answer is always the same. It doesn't matter. You can pack the value of a video in a 15-second video, or a 5-minute video, or in a 30-minute video. What you're trying to do is you're trying to present out that value to your audience as much as possible. Now, there is algorithm effects that take shape. So different platforms, for example, Facebook will show your video to more people if the video is over 3 minutes long. So for Facebook, you want to try to make videos that are 3 minutes long. However, that doesn't mean a 15-second video still can't provide your audience with a lot of value. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't make that content. Comparison to what we heard earlier with YouTube. YouTube is a longer form where you consume longer form content. Your view time affects how much your video is going to show and how much your video is going to get recommended. So creating longer form video, getting people to watch more of your video is important. Again though, when you're on YouTube, a 3-minute video or a 30-minute video can still provide value to the audience in a way that's going to help them develop trust with you and help you build your brand. So, well, if we're going to get into cost, we're going to get into certain things. I didn't talk about it earlier, but a lot of companies stop doing videos really quickly from when they get started. And the reason for that is a couple different factors. One, videos take a lot of time. We all have 4K on our smartphones. We can all shoot really good video with really good audio now, but they're still going to take a lot of time to shoot, to edit, to produce, to revise, then to write the text string, then get out onto social. So a lot of people stop creating videos because of the time and resources that go into them. When you're going through it, whenever you're starting your video process, whenever you're getting your brand onto video, minimize revisions, maximize the resources that you have, and try to create an effect where you can create more content as much as possible. Yes, sir?
If I may add to that, in the course that I took on creating videos, they said that it's okay to have it as rough and gory as possible as well. Like, we have this tendency to want it perfect, and the comment was, let's just get it out there and be vulnerable.
I 100% agree. So the question was, basically the question that comes out is, should we focus on quality? Perfection, right? And I think a lot of people, when we're looking at videos, the best videos that tell stories are authentic to that brand. And it doesn't matter what product you're presenting. It doesn't matter if you're presenting your personal brand. What matters is that you're being authentic to it and you're putting out your content in the rawest way that you can. It doesn't, the 4K on our feed throughout social on a base level. The audio is important, but it's not the most important. A little grainy, it's okay, it's authentic. If you don't have the perfect light, I don't worry about any of that. What I worry about is you're making as much content as possible and getting as many eyes on your brand as possible throughout that process. So don't chase perfection. I keep telling my team I'm going to do a video one of these days where the camera's really low and I have 8 chins and not worry about it, because a lot of clients, they go through the process of worrying about what they look like, how they're presenting themselves. Remember, it's you. Be authentic to yourself and get out as much content as possible. It's going to help your brand out in the end. Yes, sir.
4K versus HD format. Is HD, is it worth, does it make a difference? Is HD going to last long enough for the next couple of years, or does it not matter?
It does matter if you're going to bank your footage. It also matters for platforms. So certain platforms now, let's take TikTok for example. TikTok, new platform, short form video. Good quality videos do better. Grainy videos don't. That's one platform where a quality video makes sense for you to go about the process of making. Other platforms, they'll rate HD compared to 4K. It does matter. However, again, if you are in the moment and it's really raw and you have your phone and that's the only thing you have and you can only film a selfie video and it's only going to be HD quality, you still should make that content. Don't resist making that content just because it's not going to go out 4K. Yes, sir.
When you're just starting out, let's say a YouTube channel or anything like that, the first few videos that you do, does it really matter what you do, or just spread all kinds of content, all types, or how should we start out?
Well, YouTube was touched on earlier, and the cool thing about YouTube is YouTube is a search engine. So when you're creating your first YouTube videos, think about the niche that you're going to chase. When people come to you from the history that you have, the amount of videos they have, audience that you've built up. So when you're just starting, it is important to create a history, but stick to your niche as much as you can. And for YouTube specifically, focus on the fact that YouTube is a search engine. And it's not going to, native content to YouTube is not the same content you're going to put on Facebook. It's not the same content you're going to put on TikTok or LinkedIn. Find that native content for your niche. Guys, what else do we got? Specific to businesses that we have here.
Telling us what you just told us.
So when we're going through the process of native content, it was touched on earlier, native content that's on Facebook has, for example, now a different aspect ratio than we would put on YouTube. So you're building your videos and your content specific for the platforms you're putting them on. Facebook, a 3-minute video is going to do better than a 45-minute video. Like I said earlier, you can provide value in that 45-minute video. It's going to go out and people are going to watch it. And you could still engage your audience that way. But a 3-minute video is more native because people lose attention quicker on Facebook than they will on YouTube when they're watching the video. TikTok now is 15-second videos. So with a 15-second video, a short form video, you have to be able to create that native content. It's not going to do as well if you're posting a minute. It can. If you can engage someone's attention for a full minute, it's going to go further, it's going to go faster, the algorithm's going to take effect. But you want to try to be as native as possible with the videos you're creating for each platform. Yes?
Hey Jared,
Hey.
I've got 2 questions. So, you create content for Facebook and you don't have views. How can you get people to watch your views on Facebook, to give you views on Facebook? Because one, I find YouTube very hard to get views. Facebook maybe you get 20, 30 views, but YouTube you get none. How do you crack YouTube?
Well, I touched on it. I think a lot of people make the mistake, and it was touched on earlier with our earlier speaker, but one of the mistakes with YouTube is a search engine. So again, the same content you put on Facebook that's getting 20 views, when you put it on YouTube, it's not necessarily going to have the same effect. So try to create content that's going to get searched, that's going to appear in recommended lists, and create as much of it as you can. Start creating and correcting, and you're going to find your niche, and you're going to find what works, and then stick to it. But on Facebook specifically, finding more views, one of the things about social platforms now is Facebook's at scale, Instagram's at scale, YouTube still has a little space left, but it's at scale. And the new platforms that are coming out that aren't at scale yet still have a lot of organic traction. So a lot of your favorite influencers, when they built themselves up, they focused on one platform that wasn't at scale yet, and they built their presence up on for that brand equity to another platform. So finding the platform that aren't at scale yet is important at this point in time. Facebook's at scale, so you're trying to build your audience organically. You're going to be paying a little bit for ads. You're going to be going through the process of engaging your audience already, and then you're trying to, so that people will share it. They feel engaged enough to share it to their audience. That's how you're going to get the biggest organic traction. Yes?
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
Okay, my question is, you just mentioned a little bit about what my question is about the community, right? When you are building audience and your plan for Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, right? I heard so many people start doing groups and YouTube, like watching all these programs, and then they recommend like, move your audiences from plan 4 to plan 4 to plan 4. So what did you like, and your perception, like what did you say? I should build community on YouTube, I should build community on Facebook, I should build community on Instagram, or just go all together, or say like, you guys follow me everywhere?
All right, I'll touch on that one a little bit. It does come up a lot. So with social media specifically, and again, I won't get too much into it because I'm going to talk about video, but with your question, you don't necessarily have the ability with the algorithms to transfer people easily from one platform to another. That's because you don't want to share a ton of links that take people off platform. That'll help your content get deranked, which is not what we're looking for. So there's ways around that. There's ways to put those call to actions in your video. There's ways to put that. Gary Vee does it great where he posts his Twitter posts, which from Facebook, then I go look him up on Twitter. There's different ways to do it to still transfer your brand equity. Plus, people will seek you out when they go onto other platforms looking for your content. So that's how people will scale themselves up on a platform that's not at scale, that's uber organic, and then transfer that brand equity from platform to platform.
So, and then it's better build your audience or the community in one platform, and then eventually they keep you around. This is what you mean?
Yes, and it depends on your resources. So some companies have the resources to be able to employ enough manpower to execute native content for multiple platforms. But if you're a single person trying to create a personal brand, and you're trying to take all of your time and put it into these platforms, if you split your attention across all platforms making your video content, you're going to have a very, very tough time creating traction because you can't, there's not enough hours in the day to split and make a specific native video for every platform. So focus on one, or at least focus 80% of your attention on one platform. Do it really well, do it really native, and then take that content from that platform and move it to other platforms as you go.
But different content though, different video.
If you can, try to build it native. But for example, if my main platform is LinkedIn and I build native content for LinkedIn, I'm not necessarily going to do much as I transfer that to Facebook or to Twitter because Twitter and Facebook aren't my core focus. I'm focused on LinkedIn. So try to create, if you have the time, change it a little bit to make it a little bit more native for Twitter, a little bit more native for Facebook. But otherwise, focus your attention on your one platform. Yes, sir.
How important is it the titles and descriptions when we start to build this stuff?
Okay.
The video content itself.
It's important. It's important on all platforms, and it was touched on earlier. But with any video you create, we're striving for as much attention as we can get on that video. We're striving for view time. To create that, videos are built best when you have the hook. The hook comes in two forms. The hook comes at the beginning of the video that you're creating. It also comes in your text string. So it comes in your title and it comes in what you write. Now, be truthful in your hook, but at the same time, your hook is looking to attract the attention of the people that are in your audience and in your niche. Yes, sir.
What do you mean by native? Can you...
Native content is content that's built, that you build specific to what the people on that platform are looking for. So for example, if I build a 30-second video for my Facebook page, for my personal Facebook page, video that's native to my audience on TikTok.
So are you suggesting that people that are watching Facebook fit a certain demographic or psychographic profile, and that video might work on this one, but not on this one? It's a different type.
Yes and no, yes and no. So it has to do with the demographic on the platform, but also the type of content we consume. So when we're scrolling the feed on Facebook or on Instagram, we're looking for different content than when we're searching specifically on YouTube on how to fix our sync. So there's a difference in the content that's created for YouTube as in comparison to those other platforms. So when you're scrolling, and the easiest way for me to explain native is to keep creating and correcting. You have to create content within your niche as much as possible, post it out, see what does well, see what creates engagement, and then take that content and keep improving on it.
So is there a possibility to say, okay, on LinkedIn, this is native, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, these are native? Can you discuss that?
For each platform specifically?
Yeah.
What I think I'll do with that one is I'll talk to you right afterwards and we'll go through the platforms that work best for you. I think you said you were in contracting and home building, correct? So for you specifically, we're going to talk about what's native to LinkedIn to try to get your LinkedIn presence to grow so that you can connect with more contractors and build your presence out there. Yes, sir.
So, I was on another workshop, I guess, attended a workshop in Salford, and the girl was saying that for Instagram, you want a portrait?
Portrait aspect ratio?
Portrait aspect instead of that, creating 2 videos.
Not necessarily. You're gonna have to. That's the resources that go into making the native content. So if I'm building a 1080 by 1080 video for Instagram, and then I want that video to be landscape, I want it to be 1920 by 1080 on Facebook, I'm gonna have to use 2 different sequences when I edit that video. So you're exporting it twice, you're building 2 sequences, and you're getting it out. It's taking you a little extra time. But the one thing with that is for Facebook and Instagram, they are connected, and the content that does well is not the same, but you can transfer it from one to the other. So if you choose that Instagram is going to be your main platform where you put your 80% of your resources to, you can easily transfer a lot of that content straight to Facebook. Yes, sir.
You produce videos for companies?
Yes.
Yeah. If I have a company and I'm looking to hire a video producer, what are the main questions that I need to come prepared to ask you so that I know I'm going to get a good return in a sense? Yeah.
Are you available at all times of the day? It's the only question you have to ask, because the thing with video is video and good content is found for your business at all times of the day. It's not just found within regular business hours. So there's important authentic things that companies do on weekends. There's important conversations that happen after hours. So finding time to shoot that video, to create that video, to edit that video, and then go through the process is probably the most important task when you're finding your videographer. We'll go back there first.
I don't know if this is a question for you or it might be for Aaron. So I do Facebook Lives. I do 3 of them every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 minutes, right? Keep it under 10 so I can download them, link them together on YouTube or put them individually. Like, because I'm trying to look at the best way. I have a ton of content that I'm not using video-wise. I just don't know what's best.
It's best to run the lives specific, because lives, the interesting thing about lives on all platforms is they notify your audience when you go live. So it would be best if you had 2 devices and you ran the live simultaneously on LinkedIn and on Facebook while you're doing it. That's going to provide you the largest benefit for the time and resources you're putting in. But again, if we go back to my rule and you're putting 80% of your resources into Facebook, that's the platform that you're working on, then focus on your lives there if you have your one device. Put all your attention into your Facebook audience and then transfer that brand equity to your other platforms afterwards. Here.
All right, so one of the biggest frustrations our clients have before they work with us is, how do you expect me to produce all of this content? That's not something I got a chance to go into for how we do it, but I think it'd be helpful for what method do you have for batch filming or to kind of cut down, because we all have businesses to run, can't be shooting content.
So I call it pillar content. I build pillar content as much as I can. For myself, we'll have somewhere around 300 videos that I've made. That's because of things like this. You're trying to create long form pillar content, 30 minutes or longer, and then you chop up that footage as many times and start to utilize that footage to be native for as many other platforms as possible. So a speech like today, where I'm talking, will get cut into probably 10 promo clips for my various platforms, for Facebook, for Instagram. The long form will go onto YouTube. We take all of the content that's created today and we build as much out of it as possible. Yes, sir.
So segueing into that, I'd like to have control over the content that we create as much as possible versus directly creating it, uploading it to the platform, and actually having ownership
Yeah.
over the intellectual property. So being able to do that, you talked earlier about like being able to focus on one platform or do something on one platform, right? But can't you just take, like you said, pillar content and
Yes, absolutely. You can massage it. Like I said today, right? This speech will be a great pillar content for YouTube. The whole speech can go into YouTube for my playlist of marketing Q&A where I do these discussions. Great. Then we can easily take individual questions and make them native for Facebook and for LinkedIn and for other platforms, depending on the questions that were asked. So when you're building your pillar content, you can morph that content to be native on each platform, but you're still gonna have to look at morphing it and going a step further. For example, nothing I do today will work for my TikTok. It just won't, because none of what we're talking about today is gonna be native on TikTok yet. I just can't. I'm gonna have to go shoot that video elsewhere and put resources there.
So you can't, like TikTok, you have to shoot directly to it?
No, you can still upload onto TikTok specifically, but the content here just isn't what the TikTok audience is looking for.
Understood, thank you.
Yes.
Going off of Aaron's question earlier, do you have a program that automatically uploads a video to all your platforms at a certain time of day?
I don't like doing that. I like uploading native as much as possible. There are scheduling softwares that will help you upload videos, but a lot of them are limited to 3 minutes. So any videos that are longer than 3 minutes have a tough time posting. So I like to be, with videos specifically, I like to upload directly into the platform as much as possible. I don't like taking the shortcuts. And we noticed that a little while ago when we looked at Twitter, when we were uploading through Twitter through some of the scheduling softwares, they were notifying us that it looked automated, which at a base level tells us the content was getting deranked. So the best thing you can do is take your video content, upload it, dedicate the time to upload it specifically for each platform. It's gonna help you write a text string specific for each platform and help your videos go further and faster. You had a question?
Yeah, music in your video. Can you talk a little bit about where that fits in? Like, for example, if you're just doing a how-to video, would you put a little low volume background music?
I like music because it helps engage the emotion that I talked about with the value. However, if you're looking at building content, more content, then if you put music in your videos, you'll have a tough time reusing it. So you'll have a tough time using your audio if it's mixed with a music track in comparison to if you use no music in your content. So my videos now have no music in them. They used to, because we want to be able to reuse them. But if you're making content for your brand specifically that you think is trying to engage emotion and set it up to another level, and you're going to try to tell a story with the music that's behind, use it. Just export 2 versions of that video so you have the backlog of your content that's reusable. Yes?
Piggybacking off that question, when you start using music, I heard YouTube and various platforms would start docking your video for copyright infringement.
If you, yeah.
Even the radio playing in the background, an AC/DC song.
Yes.
If you can hear it, they dock you for it.
Yeah, anything that, any copyright infringement on any platform, you're gonna get deranked.
Yeah.
Now there is, if you do buy the license or if you go onto a no copyright site, there's tons of sites that you can just Google where you can get no copyright music. You can use it and not take that deduction.
Even YouTube let you, like, YouTube have some, when you go to YouTube Studio, you put your video and they let you use music as free.
Using your own that you find on a copy.
Well, on YouTube, if you use content that's flagged in there,